It's game time. Game time. Game time. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. It's game time. Game time.
Welcome back to the Gametime Greatness Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Grant.
And I'm your other host, Matthew.
All right, guys, welcome to GG13.
Welcome back.
We're excited.
It's time. It's been a while since we filmed the podcast.
Yep.
We kind of petered off through the season like we do every year, but there's been some things that have happened since our last podcast around the league and around our league. So we just kind of wanted to check in and give everyone a little update. If we're missing anything, we're sorry. That just shows that if we are missing anything, that we don't necessarily always communicate that well. So maybe that's our fault.
Poor guys.
But there's some people who've moved into a new house. This is a new house. This is the Roberts household.
Right.
I have moved into a new house. Ethan has moved into a new house, I think.
Yep.
By the time this pod comes out, I'm pretty sure he will have.
Okay.
I don't know.
He's about to.
I tried to get him to move to College Station, but he's too scared. But I know he secretly wants to.
All right.
I think Zach has moved into a new house
Yep.
since the last podcast
So
as well.
It's going to be at the draft house. Excited for that.
A couple people have put a ring on it. That would be Cole and Jake.
Yep.
So congrats to you two. And Jake also has moved back to Texas.
Yep.
And I hope to say the same thing about Brandon next year. So.
And Colin.
Yeah. I also hope to say that, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
We'll see.
Yeah. There are also some people who are expecting a baby.
We got our GG Development League starting soon. Myself.
Maybe Cole.
Yeah, I don't know. Cole got engaged. Congratulations to Cole. And Colin moved to Denver. But anyway, I'm expecting in October. Also, Parker is as well. And Noah is expecting number 2. So we've got 4 members coming soon. So
that's all we came up with for stuff that's going on with us.
Yeah.
But 2 things that happened, one in the NFL, one in college, that we could have also said happened last year, where Cowboys lost to the Niners in the playoffs again. And in the offseason, Texas A&M is going through yet another quarterback battle to see who the starter will be.
Yeah.
So that's always fun and exciting news. See how that goes.
And Aaron Rodgers is on the Jets.
And Aaron Rodgers is on the Jets.
After
Yes,
a dark
poor Brandon. Is he a Jets fan now,
I think he is.
or is he a Cowboys? He's a Cowboys fan closet. But or is he just a sad Packers fan? I don't know. We'll see how
I
Jordan.
think he's a
does.
Jets fan.
Okay.
Okay, second order of business is to congratulate our GG12 champ, which is Jake.
Congrats, Jake.
On your jersey.
Well done.
Yep.
Yes.
Josh Allen carried you to the promised land.
It's been a long time coming, and I know that you are thrilled still riding that high.
Yeah.
Because you earned it last year, so congrats.
It's a feeling that doesn't go away. So
Yeah, I
enjoy it.
hope to feel it one day. Next up, we just want to address, not necessarily definitively say anything, because I feel like we should all be involved in it. But Mike got last, and we have all talked about doing a Hard Knocks type style videos that he will submit throughout the season, just kind of talking about what he's doing fantasy-wise. So I don't really know what we want that to look like, but I think we need to decide as a group, because entry 1 should be right after the draft. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about that. I'm just glad it's not me. It almost was. But thanks, Mike, for that.
We'll discuss it as a league, and we'll come up with
let's get
a
that.
sustainable punishment. So we'll be thinking on that.
Get that ironed out.
Next, we're going to go over quickly just the draft order, and then we will do a couple predictions that we think might happen. So the draft order you'll see here, I think it'll be interesting. We had a really cool draft order selection. It's a lot of times just like 1, 2, 3, 4, like just go and fall in line, and then maybe somebody decides towards the middle, I want to draft at 8 instead of 5 or something. But we jumped around.
Every other year when it was a keeper year, it was pretty obvious which way the first 6 or 7 picks would go. That's just how it was. But I don't know.
It's been an interesting season, off season.
I picked the 101, and I don't even know if I want that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've been telling him for weeks that I don't even know what I want. Like,
when Jake he's kind of expressed interest in trading back. I genuinely don't know how I want to draft. So the draft in the beginning is a lot of pressure. You don't really know how it's going to go. But
all right, we've got some draft predictions, a couple over-unders maybe that we just want to throw out there.
Fun game.
Comment what you think will happen.
First one is, who will draft Travis Kelce?
Well, Grant, I think that Colin Christian will draft Travis Kelce.
See, I think his ADP is around 106.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
where his ADP
Colin is at 6.
And I know Colin has had him before and loved it.
Yeah.
So that's my guess.
Right. The easy answer is Cole, right? But he's at 12, and
he ain't falling to 12.
He could.
He could.
And if it falls to 12, I think Cole has 2 chances to take him. He's going to take him. I don't think he will. I actually think that Colin is a good one, because if it gets, I don't think it gets past Noah or Ethan. If it does get past Colin, I like that answer. But I don't feel like Noah would. So, or Ethan, I don't really know.
This is hard. You'd think, I don't know. Colin seems like the easy answer, but I don't know. He also does not like to be pegged down, so he will probably zig now that I've called him out.
I think that he will actually fall, making my final prediction here, to Jarvis at 10.
Ooh.
I think people are going to be reaching for better players and continuing to push Kelce down because nobody wants to draft a tight end in the first round, which may or may not be a good decision. But I think if I had to make a prediction, I'm going to say he's going to fall to Jarvis at 10.
Our next prediction, Grant, who do you think will take Patrick Mahomes?
See, Patrick Mahomes is interesting. We'll talk a little bit about quarterbacks later, but I have a feeling that Parker is going to leave the league with Patrick Mahomes this year.
At the 204?
I don't know about 204, but I think we'll see Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen fall or to go in the 3rd round this year.
Yeah, I think ADP right now across all fantasy players, I think he's going at the end of the 2nd.
Yeah, but that never happens in our league typically.
Yeah,
somebody might break the chain, but I think there's enough quarterbacks that are up there that it's not like head and shoulders. Patrick Mahomes is one. So I think Parker. What about you?
I'm gonna say Grant takes him in the 3rd round. No,
I can guarantee that won't happen.
I don't know. It seems pretty on brand for Mike, I would say, to take him in the 3rd. Not based on how Mike has drafted in the past, but based on the amount of hype that Mahomes has gotten the last year and the hype man that Mike is. So I'm going to say at the 304, Mike takes Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. We'll come back to these later and see how close we were, how wrong we were.
Yeah, we're probably wrong, but who cares?
All right. The next one is an over-under. We'll decide on the line on how many tight ends Cole is going to leave the draft with. Okay?
Yeah. So I think 2.5 is too low, or do you think that's right?
I think 2.5 is a good line because I'm almost
2 is guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
2 is guaranteed.
So
3
does he get a 3rd one?
See, I'm 90% sure he will leave the draft with 3 tight ends. So the line maybe should be 3.5, or I don't know.
I think it's 2. I think he'll leave at least with 2. So I feel like 2.5 could be a good line.
He'll leave with 2 starting tight ends.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll leave with 2
a good line.
ADP wise. He will leave with 2 tight end ones.
Right.
But he'll probably have a 3rd rostered at the end of his bench. So over under, man, I don't know. Over under 3.5. I'm gonna say over.
Over 3.5. Okay, if we set the line at 3.5, I'm going under. But
Okay, yeah, that's probably safer. But
yeah, it's because there's a world I think where he does only draft
the
2 tight
buyout
ends.
will be huge if he leaves with 4 tight ends. So.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
If
leave a comment.
3.5 is the over under.
Yeah.
Or is the line?
Do you think the line should be at 2.5? Let us know. Okay. During the draft, what round will Ethan's first rage comment take place in?
First round.
Where the decibels get high, where he yells, let's see, oh, he's drafting right behind Noah, and then he's drafting right behind Parker.
Yeah,
So this is pretty much guaranteed
It's round 1 easy.
in the first round, and if not, in the second round. Let's see. If
We could set the over under
on a round and a half.
Yeah, a round and a half, literally.
Let
And
us know.
I'm taking the under. I think it's in round 1.
Yeah.
He's gonna get mad at Noah or Ethan, or Parker. But
I'll take the over just to take the opposite, and I'll say Ethan will try his best to hold it together for the first 12 minutes of the draft.
it's probably smart because usually in the first round, like you kind of already know, like
Yeah.
roughly, like you've kind of made your decisions on who you like. So like, it's unlikely that you will rage, but it is you. So you're probably gonna.
I don't know,
At
but
least
it could even be like Colin takes a player that Ethan is gonna want.
Right.
You just hear, "Dang it!"
A Tony Pollard in the 6th overall pick. You
Yeah.
never know.
Wait, no, Tony Pollard sucks. Yeah, I definitely don't want him at the 212. So
Right.
nobody draft him.
Okay, our next question is which sleeper, well, not even sleeper, which Packers wide receiver is Brandon going to take in this year's draft?
That's a good question. So I think Christian Watson, I think, is a little more well known, and his ADP is higher than the other 2 guys for sure.
So
So
Dobbs
I
is
think
getting some praise and not
Dobbs is
hype.
getting some praise.
And I think Brandon's a sucker for that.
That's true. I think he's just a sucker anyway. But
True.
no, I don't, Brendan. But I think since Christian Watson's a little more well known, he's more likely to be taken by another player.
Right.
So I don't. It definitely he won't reach for Christian Watson. I don't think.
No, he won't reach for any of them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say he leaves with Jaden Reed, the rookie. Because he'll fall to the
He'll be almost
low rounds
undrafted.
where it's an insignificant pick.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know who Jaden Reed is, and so
Yeah.
I'll go with Dobbs. If I was going to take whichever one you didn't really, I don't think he's going to take Watson, but I feel like I could see you taking Dobbs super late in drafts.
I know he likes Watson.
Yeah.
I know he likes.
But you were right
Dobbs
about
and
it
Reed too. But yeah.
Last one.
Grant, which of our fantasy league members do you think Yahoo will give the best draft grade to?
Last year, wasn't it Parker? I think it was. I was looking through some of the old pods. I'll fact check who it was last year. I think it was Parker. And so typically Yahoo gives best drafts to those that like stick to ADP and have like great values. According to rankings, not so.
If I should just give it to whoever takes Christian McCaffrey. So
right, typically it's somebody that drafts early. Yeah. So Jake wants it to be him, but maybe not. Jake thinks that league wide he's the best drafter. So I don't think I'm going to give it to Jake. I think that Mike will end up with best draft on Yahoo after the draft is over. You drafted early, and
because who does that mean you're taking then, Grant?
Can't say.
Okay, interesting.
Well, obviously I could pick myself, but I don't necessarily want to have best draft grades. So.
Yeah, I will say Jake is an excellent drafter. That doesn't necessarily correlate to Yahoo draft grades.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay. I think ADP is Justin Jefferson or Christian McCaffrey is always going to be high. So
right.
I'll say it's me, even though that will probably curse me for the rest of the year. I don't want it. I just know I'm going to take one of those 2 players at the 101. So it pretty much always gives best draft grade to that guy. So
right. Yeah. It's a sucker
for no reason other than that is why I'm picking me. Not because I think I'm going to draft great. I almost always walk out of the draft hating my team anyway, just because I feel like I'm pretty negative when it comes to fantasy. Which begs the question, why do I even play? I don't know. So that's what we got for our draft predictions and our
Let us know.
over-unders. Yeah, comment what you think. Or
Yep.
send it in the group text. I love when our
Comment on the
DM
video first,
Yeah.
and then you can send it.
Yeah, like
And
and
like the
subscribe
video.
too, and hit
Yeah.
that bell. I texted everyone about an hour before we started filming this who their favorite fantasy player that they've ever rostered was, because right now everyone's at fantasy high. No one's taken any L's yet, so we want to focus on the good. So
That's right.
our favorite fantasy players. Grant, why don't you kick us off with yours?
Mine, I went with Patrick Mahomes, 2018 Patrick Mahomes. That was my championship year. It was undrafted, and
50 touchdowns.
yeah, it was just one of those seasons where, like, you know, when you just check your Yahoo like notifications, it was just like, oh, Patrick Mahomes threw a touchdown, and you would see it 5 times on Sunday, and you were just like, this is amazing. I got 30 to 50 points every week from a quarterback, and yeah, that year obviously means a lot more to me. There's probably some players that I draft more often that I do like, but Patrick Mahomes is my answer.
Yeah, that's a
Championship's
good
big
answer.
difference. Yeah.
So for me, I have not won yet, but man, I had a great time 2 years ago with my roster. That was Cooper Kupp Triple Crown year, so I'll say him.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. Just watching Kupp get 30 points every week. That was way fun. I hit 200 points like 6 or 7 times that year.
Yeah.
That was amazing. It was fun. I'm still salty that I lost in the semis to Jarvis, the champ of that year. No need to walk back on that road. Okay, Cooper Kupp, my favorite. All right. So I asked the rest of the league members. I sent it out via text. The first person to reply was Ethan. Ethan says, aside from Tony, obviously,
I was gonna
it
say.
was Zeke's rookie year.
Yeah.
was his favorite.
Because he drafted. That was his, yeah.
Yeah, he had a whole
105 or
he had a
something.
whole spiel about. I almost had Zeke as whole rookie contract. Blah blah blah.
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just got a text. So Mike just texted me. J Jeff.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. As far as GG goes, I definitely associate Justin Jefferson
Yes.
with you.
100%.
But I've had him in like every other league. He drafted him in the rookie draft when he was a rookie in our dynasty league, and I have him after our new draft in dynasty as well. I've had him in a couple other leagues, and I'm probably gonna have him this year.
He's such a fun player.
So yeah, he's more of a me player. But anyway, Mike, I'm glad you like him
Yeah.
because I like him too. Let's see. The next person to reply was Noah. I said,
I'm curious.
"Who
about
is your favorite fantasy player you have ever rostered?" And he said, "Hello, Matthew." Yeah, that's not even surprised by that kind of response. So I had to tell him that we were doing a pod, and he said Odell Beckham, his rookie year.
Yeah.
Which that's a good answer. Odell Beckham was electric that year.
Undrafted in most fantasy leagues.
Yeah, well,
late round
that's
pick.
kind of crazy to me that he was undrafted.
Yeah.
Well, he's hurt. It's because he was hurt.
Oh, he's
or something?
Yeah, I think he came out of college.
Taken
hurt.
in the top 10 pick in the NFL draft.
It was up there.
Yeah, he was up there. So
I guess it had been an injury, and
I don't know.
yeah, Giants, Eli Manning.
But
Yeah, that was a
anyway,
special season.
yeah, that was a fun year. Odell Beckham was so fun to watch.
Yep.
Next person that texted me was Cece. He said, "I've never won, only rostered losers, so none of them." And I said, "Same." And then he said, "But if I had to choose, Marshawn Lynch or Arian Foster were super fun to have on the team."
Marshawn was a good one.
Yeah. So thank you,
Arian
Cece.
Foster's a throwback too. That was, I mean,
Yeah.
he was really fun, but that was like high school years of fantasy.
Yeah, that was like 2012, 2013, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, good entry as well. Next up, Jackson Jarvis said Jamar Chase when he won me a ship. So
Makes a difference.
excellent. Yes.
And he's
Good
also
answer.
just a fun player. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, those wide receiver ones are way fun to watch.
yeah.
Jake says, joke answer, David Akers, the kicker. Recency bias, Josh Allen,
Yeah.
won him a championship. And the real answer, person who is why he's a Falcons fan, I'm sure, Julio Jones.
Bijan. No, I'm just
He may be future.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bijan at the 102. I don't know.
Todd Gurley? No, sorry, too soon.
Julio Jones. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
coming. That's a good answer. Julio was incredible
He
to
was
watch
so
for
good. Julio and AJ Brown,
like
or
6 years,
Antonio
where
Brown.
he was like, I don't know, the wide receiver 5.
I'm surprised
or
that wasn't
better
Ethan's
every
answer,
year.
but obviously Ethan's a Cowboys fan, but Antonio Brown, I feel like could have been an
Yeah.
Ethan answer, and
I-
those two are in my mind as like just the two wide receivers to own throughout our college years, the late 2010s, but
Yeah.
good picks.
Parker's played fantasy for a few years, but he's only been in GG 1 year, and he answered, trading you for Josh Jacobs. Because I traded him Josh Jacobs last year.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was stupid. But
I love Josh Jacobs at Alabama. I obviously don't like Alabama, but like he was such a fun player, and I never have owned him. But I feel like maybe this is the year. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Josh Jacobs for Parker's answer, and I think that's a good answer.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs won me some money last year, so. Who's next? Zach. Zach says Tyreek Hill, so fun to watch.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
So fast.
The year I had Cooper Kupp, I also had Tyreek Hill, so that was pretty incredible.
Those guys
Very
that can
fun to
just
watch.
score 40 points on any given week are just like, they give you so much joy because you'll just look at it on your phone and you just be like, oh, they just scored another touchdown. Oh, they just scored another touchdown. 200-yard game, and it makes your week so much better.
What's so fun to watch about Tyreek Hill is even when he doesn't have the ball, he's just running faster than everybody.
Yeah.
Like his teammate has the ball running to the end zone, and you see Tyreek Hill coming up right behind him,
Yep.
like being to the end zone. I don't
Insane.
know. Tyreek Hill, incredible player. Next up, Cole Bennett. He says Christian Kirk. I don't even remember when he had Christian Kirk on his roster, but maybe it's in another league.
That's an Aggie pick, too.
Aggie pick. He probably met him at the rec one day, or at Sabisa, or whatever.
Yeah.
Where the athletes eat or something.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, Christian Kirk's a good answer just for like an Aggie fan, but I was a little surprising because I think we all know who it really is.
Mm-hmm. Any tight end. No, yeah, that's a good answer. Christian
Yeah.
Kirk, I didn't see that coming. Brandon actually did reply, but he didn't give his player. At this point in time,
Typical Brandon.
he said in GG or ever,
Oh.
and that was
How many
that was
typos were in his
that was an hour
answers?
ago. 0 typos
Oh, wow.
actually, but he didn't
Random capital letters? Like,
he didn't capitalize GG, so I'll take off points for that because that should be capitalized.
it's a proper noun.
I said up to you 10 minutes ago. He read that. No. Yeah, 10 minutes ago he read it and still hasn't replied. So,
We all know who it is.
who is it?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah. Aaron Rodgers is a good answer. The next thing we wanted to do was we wanted to go back and look at. We went back the past 5 years, looked at the championship rosters, how they kind of went about the draft or the season, and
How some of their players finished.
yeah.
Like how important certain things were.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do like the most in-depth, so like there's probably some things along the season that happened
Right.
that we may miss, and you
There's
guys
some important
No,
context,
so
injuries.
don't flag us too hard for all misinformation, but
Yeah.
just at a glance how things finished and
Mhm.
how you drafted and things like that.
So we'll start with 2018, which was GG8 champ Grant. Some notable players from his. If you want to go through, your roster,
Yeah, so-
since we just looked at it.
We already talked about Pat. I drafted Carson Wentz that year in like the 10th round, I think, coming off of his like MVP caliber season, but he was going to be hurt at the beginning of the year. So I picked up Mahomes to start week 1.
It's all
and-
history from there.
And I remember even like the footballers were telling me not to play him because it was a Pittsburgh matchup, and it was like not a good matchup for a rookie quarterback to start. And then QB1 on the end of the season.
Yeah. So undrafted to the QB1.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, that's obviously on the extremes.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's unlikely to happen, but the champ had the QB1.
right. Also had Chicago's defense that year after the Khalil Mack, and that was
an incredible year.
a really good value. But when you look at my other players, my receivers, I had like all like middle tier, top 30 wide receiver, Amari Cooper, Corey Davis, and Allen Robinson, who all like had boom bust weeks. Like none of them were elite, but Amari Cooper had a 40-point week after he got traded to the Cowboys, and Allen Robinson had a few really good games in Chicago. And then my running backs were Zeke and Kareem Hunt. And on the Chiefs. So both those guys were incredible for me.
And when Kareem Hunt got hurt,
right, I was able to get Damian Williams. So having that fantasy or the waiver wire addition of Damian, and then my tight end towards the end of the year, I didn't have a great tight end. He got drafted like Jimmy Graham, but and that was at the end of his fall off. Was Jalen Samuels in the championship, and I added him in the playoffs.
You know the guy who was
tight end,
running back and tight end.
A Taysom Hill, if you will.
Yeah.
Not a quarterback.
Yeah. It's also important to note, I think, that Grant was 7-6 going into playoffs that year.
Never give up.
Zeke finishes the RB5 that year. Kareem Hunt was running back one, not the running back one, a running back one. If you look at points per game, so his running backs were huge, quarterback was huge, defense was huge, and then with some boomer bust wide receivers, you can put together a nice playoff run.
Things to note were quarterback one, top running backs, and I don't think we had a defense that really made a difference that we could tell throughout the rest of it. But some of those onesie positions really make a difference.
Yeah. The next year, 2019, GG9, our champ was Cole. That was the year of the trade. But if you look back, Cole actually had a really nice draft as well. Even though he did 2 trades with his brother Jack that year.
A couple questionable
We'll get to
moves.
that in a minute. But also on this championship roster was Patrick Mahomes, who he took in the 4th round and ended up as the quarterback 1 for the 2nd year in a row. His keeper was Christian McCaffrey that year, which obviously should be. Finished as the RB3. He took Kelsey in the 2nd, finishes the tight end 1. He took Mixon in the 3rd, finishes the RB13. He took Kupp in the 5th, finished as the wide receiver 4. But partway through the season, this was early in the season, he made a trade with Jack, giving him Travis Kelce. And he got Gurley,
Fournette,
Lockett, and Fournette, who all finished. Fournette and Gurley both finished as RB1s that year. And Lockett was like wide receiver 13 or something like that.
He also had a good tight end, so he didn't need Kelsey as much, so he got a ton of value. And then fast forward
a few weeks later, he made another trade with Jack to get Kelsey back and traded Jack.
That was towards the end of the year when Jack was kind of out of contention too.
Right, and traded Jack for like garbage players. Like
you all remember the range.
Yeah, you all remember it. We all were sad. That was the year I got 2nd place to Cole in the championship.
Your Jameis here.
Huh?
Your Jameis here.
Yeah. I was riding the Jameis high until he threw 4 interceptions in the championship game. It is what it is. I try not to think about that too much. But yeah, so the Grant's championship style was hunting that waiver wire, really. He had some undrafted players that really helped, Mahomes and Williams. And then relying on his running backs and his defense. Cole's style, he had a good first 5 rounds of the draft. and then his style was trades, I would say.
Yeah,
Trades
but he also
with his-
had
Trade
good
with his
running
little
backs.
brother. Yeah.
Good running backs, good tight end, good quarterback.
So, but again, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
2-time GG
back to
champ.
back. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. 2020, we can skim over this.
Yeah.
This year kind of was stupid.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
irrelevant.
get some guy named Ethan Michael Wright was the champion. So his championship year was interesting because his first 3 picks were not great, to be honest. Well,
It is
I mean, they
magnificent.
should have been great.
Right.
His players got hurt.
McCaffrey,
That was Christian
Kittle.
McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Amari Cooper, I think.
Yep.
And McCaffrey got hurt, as we all know. Kittle also got hurt. Amari Cooper ended up as the wide receiver 15, but still not exactly what you would want. Because I remember Cooper got off to a rough start, I think. And I was like, man, the first 3 picks for Ethan have not been great. But, I mean, wide receiver 15 actually is pretty good for a 3rd round wide receiver. But anyway, he also took Lockett with his next pick. And then he took Kyler Murray, who ended up as the quarterback 2, I think.
Yep.
So he had an
of
excellent
good value.
quarterback. But he also had Robbie Chosen Anderson, who finished as a high-end wide receiver 2 or something like that.
Yep.
And then his running backs were actually what carried him, and none of them were named Christian McCaffrey. David Montgomery in the 7th round ended as the RB4. James Robinson, undrafted, RB7. And then he had Myles Gaskin, who came back in the championship game and dropped like 35 points or something like that.
Yep.
But it was good in the early season for him as well when McCaffrey was hurt. So some good waiver wire pickups for Ethan.
And a good QB.
Good late round value in David Montgomery and Robbie Chosen. And then, of course, an excellent QB.
Right.
Next up, 2021, the year I should have won but didn't. But that's just my groundbreaking analysis right there. Jarvis, congrats Jarvis. He started out 7-0 that year. Mahomes was his keeper, actually.
Yeah.
So
Which is basically a 1st round pick. So
yeah, that was
not
that was
good
really
value
interesting.
technically.
Mahomes finished as I think the QB4 that year, so still top 4 QB. But he's a 3-time GG champ since he's been in the league, which is, if you don't count his rookie year where he didn't play,
Right.
then he's 3 for 5, which is
That's incredible.
pretty incredible. Yeah. But that was the year Jamar Chase popped off. He got Jamar Chase in the 5th round, which at the time I'm pretty sure I and most other people thought was kind of a reach.
Yep. He had a bad camp.
He had a bad
5th
camp.
round, just
Can't
nobody wanted it.
Can't see the ball without the white stripe or
Right.
something like that. I don't know. That was all just smoke screen.
Yep.
Jamar Chase ended up as the wide receiver 3 that year. Absolutely popped off. Great value in the 5th round. Mark Andrews, he got in the 4th round, was the tight end 1.
Yep.
Mike Evans, he got in the 3rd round, was the wide receiver 9. And Leonard Fournette, he got in the 9th round, was the running back 6. So he got some
When I went up to Tampa, yeah.
incredible value in the 3, 4, 5 round, and then found some value in the draft. And I think that was his the defining part of his season was his
Right.
draft. I would say not really too many.
He's never been a waiver wire
pickups. It didn't really. I
That's
don't
okay.
think he traded with anybody that year. So I
Sometimes
would
it
say
just falls that way.
yeah, it's just interesting to see the different methods of the champs so far.
Right.
And then we have our 2022 champ, reigning champ, Jake Rex, if you will. Josh Allen in the 4th round was the QB2. So you see these QBs are essential.
Yep.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
And Mahomes and Allen were like almost back to back on Jarvis in the 4th round, and they were 1 and 2 in fantasy finish. So like even if he had taken Mahomes, he would have been probably in the same exact spot, which is kind of crazy.
And something to note about quarterbacks, like you having a top 4 quarterback on your championship roster, something to note about that is it's not like they're taking, except for Jarvis,
that was a keeper year. He didn't have another option.
They're finding the QB value not in the first 3 rounds of the draft. It's in the 4th or in the 6th or whatever, or undrafted. So it's finding that high-end quarterback value in the later rounds, and not just taking, Mahomes has been on 3 championship rosters, I guess I'll take him at the 101. But so it's just interesting to see. And then Jake made a great trade with Brandon. And he got Eckler, who finishes the RB1. He got Ramondre Stevenson in the 8th round, who finishes the RB7. He got AJ Brown in the 3rd round and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 5th round. Those guys finished as the wide receiver 6 and 7, respectively. I don't know at what point Jake picked up Evan Ingram, but he finished the season hot and was the tight end 5. Which last year wasn't a great year for tight ends, but still, I mean,
you have to have value at tight end, at quarterback, and then obviously all your other positions are important. And I think we looked at yours, and it was like your first 10 draft picks were all like valuable in some way throughout your season. Which, because when we looked back, some of these players are like just complete whiffs. There was a reason you took a shot on them, but like they never panned out. You traded with some of them. You actually had fantasy value. Like even through Josh Palmer, I think it was your 10th or 11th round pick. It was like still a value to your team. Through the season.
It was you had a good package deal, including Aaron Jones. To get Austin Eckler, which is
well done.
You don't always want to trade away your 2nd round pick or whatever he was for him. But I mean, when getting Eckler, you might. So I don't know. It was a good move. So now you see kind of the methods of the past 5 champs, and they're all a little different. So there's no tried and true formula. But it's just about finding that value.
We're going to see quarterback values just shoot up to the draft now.
Everyone's taking a QB in the 2nd round.
We'll see.
I bet Ethan's going to jump on that Jalen Hurts train again. So
fake fan.
We'll see.
Okay, well,
all right.
That wraps up this podcast, and good luck to you boys on Friday for the draft night, and we will see you guys there.
All right.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Later.
Peace.